All right. Good morning, everyone. This is Danny with Danny's Luxury Cruise Vacations. We're an independent affiliate of the Avoya Travel Network. And today I have the pleasure of having a colleague on this Zoom call with me. Eric works with Swan Hellenic, an amazing expedition company taking you to amazing destinations around the world. And Eric is going to answer some questions for us on his wonderful product, which I think you'll find very interesting. Welcome, Eric, and thank you for being here.
Thank you, Danny. Very happy to be with you.
Thank you. Eric, the first question I have for you is, what makes Swan Hellenic different from other cruise lines slash expedition companies?
It's a very good question. Well, there's the fact first, I'd say there's probably about 5 items. There are many, but let's keep it to 5. So the first one, I would say the size of our ships. As you can probably see behind Danny, it's one of our ships. So we have 3 ships in total. 2 of them are 152 passengers, and the newer one that was put in motion actually almost a year ago is 192. So we have the youngest fleet of expedition ships out there in the world, and the fact that they're small, like I just mentioned, that gives you a very personalized service on board. Like in less than a day, everybody knows your name. They know what you like. They know what you don't like. They know what you drink. They know what you don't drink. So it's a total different type of experience as soon as you come on board. There's also our history. We bank on over 70 years of experience. I'd like to say also that since 2020, the company was restarted. It kind of died, if you allow me that expression, in 2017, and it was brought back in 2020 by a new group of investors. It's a new company than what Swan Hellenic was before, but keeping the same mission of a cultural expedition, which Swan Hellenic was the first to put in motion in the 1950s. There's also the fact that we cover all the continents. Currently not, but we will. By 2026, we will cover all the continents in the world. So there's that aspect also compared to some others that are limited to a certain geographical region during a year. Also, we are a 5-star boutique expedition. In other words, we are luxury, but luxury comes in details. We all have great ships, we all have great staff, we all have great food, but it comes to details after that. And we have a few also that we can offer for people that sail with us. It could be from an itinerary, considering that we cover the world, and some of our itineraries are really thought outside of the box. And so that could be a reason to differentiate ourselves from other cruise line. Also, we have on all our ships at the bow what we call the Swan's Nest. It holds about 30 people at one time, and you have a downward view of any marine wildlife that would happen. In my case, when I was in Africa, in the Madagascar area, and back in November, there were dolphins that came close to the bow, and we were literally like about 35 feet from them, seeing them jumping from the Swan's Nest. Also, even more for the polar regions, it's built to push away the wind. So when you are in the Swan's Nest, you still feel comfortable because the wind doesn't hit you as much. All our staterooms, to the exception of one category, have a fireplace. So of course, it's not a real fireplace. They are electrical, but what is great, it's they crackles. So when you are in your stateroom, you sit down, you can enjoy a cocktail or drink of your liking, and you can just feel that you're almost at home, but in somewhere else in the world. So those are a few details that I'd like to share. And the last one, also another differentiating point, is we are unpretentious luxury. And what I mean by that is on board, it's casual. At dining, for the dinner time, it's very casual, so you can come any way you want. You don't need to dress up. You don't need a cocktail dress. You don't need a jacket. You don't need a tie. You can come anytime, at any time also. You don't need any reservation. You just show up during the opening hours of the dining room and they'll sit you down. So
Nice.
that makes a big difference also, that you don't need to plan any clothes for dinner different than what you would have worn during the day.
Perfect, perfect. Great, great. That's good. Another question I have for you, Eric, is the demographics for Swan Hellenic. Would any age group feel comfortable, or do you gear towards a certain demographic?
So then you would have asked me that, let's say about 8 months ago. I would have said, well, our average age is around 65. After I've done 3 sailings with Swan Hellenic last year, I changed. I'm saying 55 plus. I've seen a lot of 30-year-old and 40-year-old on our ships that I've never seen before, especially for a small ship company as well as expedition. I think the young generation have traveled, they're well traveled, and they want to see other areas that they're not as familiar, and we are a great way to do that. And I'd like to add as well that about 65% of our guests are North Americans, so Canadians and Americans on board. The rest is a mix of many from English-speaking country like the UK, South Africa, Australia, New Zealand, and the rest is pretty international.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the next question I had, and you've touched on it already, is where you folks go. You're going to be going to in the near future. You're going to add the last continent, so you're going to be traveling all over the world. So, great information there. So, cool. I guess another question is, what typical cruises expeditions do they vary in length from, let's say, 7 days to 10 days to 20 days?
Our average is about 11 nights. We have very few that are 7 nights, 11 nights. Like we have one circumnavigation of Sicily, for example, which is 8 nights, including Malta, every August. Then we have Svalbard in the north west of Norway, which we all do 7 nights. The rest is mixed between a 10, 11, 12, 13 nights. So our average is about 11 nights, to the exception of a few.
Perfect, perfect. And as far as all inclusive, can you elaborate a little bit on that? Are drinks in the evening or at the bars included? Shore excursions, are those type of things included with your amazing product?
So we include everything to the exception of about 3 things, really, because it would be a lot easier just to say those 3 things than the rest that is included. So we don't include spa treatments, which is usually the case. We're not the exception here. Some top shelf drinks and optional excursions, though we always include an excursion per port that we visit. That's always in. And optional excursions would be something that you would do instead of the included one. So you pay for that one, and that would not be included. So also in anything you see with us, we always include the pre-night at the departure port. So anywhere we are in the world, that night before embarkation, we always include that hotel in a 4 or 5 star, depending where we are and what the availability of hotels are in that area. We cover also the transfers, the group transfers from the airport to the hotel the day before. It has to be the day before. If you deviate from that, then we wouldn't cover that transfer.
Okay.
Then the next day from the hotel to the ship, and at the end of the sailing from the ship to the airport. Again, if you would stay longer after your sailing, we wouldn't cover that transfer. So that gives you like that we do everything. Even Wi-Fi is included, port taxes, gratuities. So it's all in.
Beautiful, beautiful. And the last question I have for you this morning, Eric, you kind of touched on the demographics as, age group, and it's getting a bit younger, but who would you feel is a good fit for your expeditions?
That's another good question. I would say people that want to see the world differently, they really want to have travel with a cruise line that focus on the destinations. And this is what we do. Yes, our hardware, our ships are amazing. They look fantastic, but you travel for a reason, and it's to discover an area of the world. And that's what we do. So we make sure we put an emphasis in the destinations that we visit and spend as much time as we can also. And I'd say another one, and some people said, "Oh, I don't like cruises." Well, you don't need to like cruises because this is your vehicle to be able to visit areas that sometimes are harder to visit. And the way we do things is not like a regular cruise, as you can see with other companies, like to name a few, like a Princess or Royal Caribbean. And what they do it right, they do it well, but it's a total different thing of traveling with us. And the last one that I say is if you've done a river cruise before, you've already opened the door in sailing the way we do it. Because again, you've on a river cruise, you're going to be with about 140, 145, 150, 160 passengers, and you are on a river, so you are really close to the destinations. You're docking at the port, like right in the middle of the city, which is mostly what we do as well. So there's a good parallel with these two.
And you said it so well, Eric, at the beginning of this question. It's kind of like a vehicle getting you to go places, and going to places that you can't drive to.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
that's the beautiful thing. Well, Eric, that wraps up my questions for you. I wanted to thank you for your time. This was wonderful. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you, Danny. Happy to be with you.
Thank you.